Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Everline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Care Sandwich podcast. I am so excited to introduce Chris Guymon, my guest for today. He is known as the Time Freedom Lawyers founder. He's also known as a Time Freedom Lawyer. So he is the Time Freedom Lawyer. And he is my guest today, and I'm going to let him introduce himself more fully. But let me tell you a little bit about Chris. He's on a mission to empower attorneys that have a lot of work, but maybe not a lot of time. And he has this dream that lawyers deserve to have an abundance of time as well as work. So Chris, tell us about it's not a law firm, your company that's not a law firm, but you are an attorney. So tell us about your journey. Tell us about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I am a lawyer. Like you said, I own a law firm. The law firm does family law. At this point, my team does all of the day-to-day work. I come in and do the fun stuff, which has allowed me to focus most of my time on the coaching business, Time Freedom Lawyers. And really, like you said there, my mission and my goal there is to empower attorneys to define and achieve their definition of success. Really what I want there is for them to have an abundance of time, money, and energy. I feel like attorneys, we often work too hard. We don't get paid for the work that we're doing. And I want to see attorneys be able to build that lifestyle that I think that they deserve. So that's really what I'm doing now.
So I was having a conversation earlier today, and it was such perfect timing in preparation for this interview. I was meeting with a person that helps people make better lifestyle choices like health and wellness. And we were talking about customer service and the vicious cycle.
Yeah. When
a law firm owner does not have that space on their calendar for self-care, sometimes it does trickle into their business, and it's like this awful hamster wheel. And Chris, you're known for helping people get out of that vicious cycle and even create 4-day work weeks. Can you tell us about that? Like, how do you help people do that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and to touch on your first point of being able to take self-care, I literally was taking a nap before we did this call. I woke up early, I worked out, I did those things, and then I got to the office and got stuff taken care of and realized I had a gap in my schedule. We were going to do this. I was like, you know what? I got to take care of myself and take that nap. So you're absolutely right. You got to have that self-care so that you can do your best possible work when you are working. To answer your second question, though, on the 4-day work week, it's funny because attorneys, we bill at a decently high rate, and especially if you convert over to flat fees and those other types of billing methods, you can provide a significant amount of value to your clients without having to spend a ton of time. And so really when it comes down to the 4-day work week, I think a lot of my stuff out there says the 5-figure 4-day work week, right? So $10K a week in 32 hours or less.
Say that one more time for the people in the back, because I know there's people listening to this and they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, 5-figure 4-day work weeks. That was kind of my catchphrase when I was first starting out there. So I know it's out there still quite a bit. But that was really when I was creating my programs initially, I thought, how much money does someone need to make that they can they can start scaling? And then how much time do they need so that they can do the other things that they love? And so I kind of created that 5-figure 4-day work week, so $10,000 in a week in 4 days or 32 hours. That seems to be the right foundation. That gives you enough money that you can then scale if you want to scale or cut back your time. I have one client that's scaled to over $5 million a year. I have another client that cut back his time into his law firm to about 20 hours a week, and then he does real estate investing, which he loves and he makes really good money doing. And I even have another client that she decided to homeschool her 5 kids. And so she's only working about 15, 20 hours a week in her law firm so that she can homeschool her kids. So that's what I love about when you start talking about people's lifestyles. Everybody's lifestyles are a little different. What you want may be different from what I want, and different stages of life. Like right now, Disneyland is I go to Disneyland or Disney World 3 or 4 times a year because my kids are that age and they love it and it's a blast. 10 years from now, I don't know if that will still be the same thing, but when you start talking about lifestyle and you start balancing time, money, and energy, then really anything becomes possible. So to answer your question on how to get to the 4-day work weeks, really what it comes down to is providing significant amount of value to your clients. I say that value is what they get, price is what you charge, right? And then there's a cost to you. And the goal is to make those gaps as high as possible and equidistant. So they receive a ton of value, you charge less than that, but it costs you even less. That would be the ideal situation. So I want to make sure you're charging enough for your services and you're providing a massive amount of value. That's the first step. But then it's really getting paid for what you do. The average attorney only puts about 2.1 hours of pay into their pocket for every 8 hours they work. And so when people tell me they're working too many hours, that's usually the issue. And I bet half the attorneys listening to this right now are shaking their heads saying there's no way. But if you take how much you made over the year and then divide it by the number of hours you worked, you'll be blown away with how little you got paid for the amount of time you worked. So that's the things that I focus on the most: value and getting paid for the work that you're doing.
And I'm going to talk about something, and I'm reading between the lines, and I think I'm a psychic right now, because I bet some attorneys are listening to this and they're like, oh, you're teaching how to be just about the money and not about doing a good job and being a good attorney. But I know that's not what you're about.
Yeah.
So walk us through, how can you be focused on generating that revenue and having that cushion and paying yourself? Like, walk us through how that's possible without sacrificing quality of service. Because I know many attorneys that listen to this and that are part of our audience, this is about caring. This is about providing quality service. How do you do that?
Yeah. And that's why I always start the conversation off with value, is what is the person getting, right? And that's going to be different for every person in every practice area, right? So like my law firm is family law, divorce, custody, often some pretty nasty relationship issues. Those people come in and they're hurting significantly, and they're really worried about making sure their kids are taken care of, right? So one of the things we did with our firm is, as I was looking at this, I'm like, okay, what do they actually want? And they want healthy relationships on the back end. They want their kids to have an enjoyable lifestyle, not being abused by bad spouses or hurt by the process. One of the things that I realized when I was doing this analysis for my own firm is that cases that resolved quicker made better co-parents on the back end. And so, and there was almost a direct correlation that the longer the divorce took, the worse the parents co-parented on the back end. And so I started
see
testing
that because there's so much in the air.
Yeah, and every court hearing, right? Like, you have to sling the mud to get your side of the story out there, and it just emboldens each side into their positions. And so I started working on a process that could get people in really quickly. In fact, Utah allows attorneys who are mediators to draft and file paperwork as the mediator. And so they can come in and mediate, and then we draft and file the paperwork for them. On average, from the time the person meets us to the time they're divorced is 2 weeks. And the cost is a fraction of the cost. The cost is $2,500 total. So they're each paying $1,250.
I'm going to pause right there because you just said something. You're making more money by charging less?
Yes.
But then still charging more?
That's exactly what I was getting at, right? So $2,500, it's usually about 3 hours of my time. My team does the rest of the paperwork. Each client pays $1,250. The average divorce in Utah is $15,000 each. And so we're charging a tenth the cost. The average divorce in Utah is between 9 and 11 months, and ours is 2 weeks. And the most important thing is they get the best possible deal. They're set up to be good co-parents.
Wow.
Most of the discussion is talking about co-parenting. I mean, I can divide people's property in half in 30 minutes, right? Unless you have a ton of assets. Most people's So the time I get to spend is all about co-parenting. So that's what I mean by this, right? They get the best possible outcome. I don't care how much you paid for an attorney, the highest powered attorney. If they take 9 months to get you divorced, it's worse for you. So they get the best possible outcome at a tenth the price. And I make more per hour doing that than anything else. And so
And
we
everyone's
all
happy.
win. Yeah, right? I mean, because I only worked so few hours to do it, I make more per hour. They pay less overall, and they get the best possible outcome. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at. Obviously, not everything is
Okay.
that simple, but that's the kind of stuff that we're looking at. You're always starting with the value first, and more often than not, when you focus on the value, like the outcome that the client wants, you can cut out a bunch of the work that doesn't get them there, and therefore they pay less. You still make a good amount of money, but they get exactly what they're looking for.
So I'm gonna paraphrase what you said in another way with Margarita speak. Okay. So what
I
I
like it.
heard was step one is get into the psychology of what your customers really want. Everybody comes to you for a legal service, but there are emotional needs, lifestyle needs, other wants and desires beneath that. And we
Yes.
use this in marketing all the time. So
Yeah.
that's step one. Step two, figure out a way to deliver that in the most efficient way possible so you can give them the best price. I'm going to say the best price
Hmm.
or value, monetary value for what they're actually paying you without it taking too much of your time.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what I heard. That's the
Yeah.
formula. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I really do believe that that works, and I've seen it in action in many law firms. And part of what we do at Marketing Boss as CMOs is definitely look at efficiency and
Yeah.
not always just what is the cost, but what am I getting out of something in the marketing space. It sounds like you have that same approach with the legal space, and you've given some attorneys back their lives, it sounds like. So you're a husband, you're a dad, you're a
Yeah.
mentor. What, give us a story other than yours of a lawyer whose life was transformed. I know you gave us a little snippet of, the mom that works 20 hours and like walk us through how you applied this formula with another case study that's not yours. I'm just curious if you
Yeah.
can share. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
confidential because
Happy
I
to
know how
share.
lawyers are top secret everything, but
I've got one client. I use her story frequently, and she's given me
okay,
permission to do so. So I'll use hers
good.
because I mean, when I first started, this took me a long time to learn. Like I started
Mhm.
right out of school. I think I only grossed like $78,000 my first year. I think I kept like 17 of it. That's when I realized, like, man, I've got to figure out this business stuff. I'm good at being a lawyer, but I'm not good at the business side. And I spent about 5 years learning how to run a business before I had my
Wow.
first $500,000 year of gross revenue. Um, then as I'm coaching and helping other people, I had a client, Sierra is her name, and she hired me the Monday before she was sworn in as an attorney on Wednesday, and this was in October. She just, taken the bar and all those types of things. She was pretty burned out from law school and bar exams and
Right.
stuff. So we said,
She's
you know what,
like,
let's
I'm not
take
even
these
a lawyer
last.
yet and I'm already tired.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And she had, kids at home and a husband at home and stuff. And her kids were high school age. And she's like, man, I want to spend a little bit of time with them. So we got her business like set up, like the LLC and those types of things. But we didn't actually start marketing it until January. That way she could do the holidays with her kids. She did a couple like little pro bono things just to learn some stuff. But we started hitting it hard in January. And that first year, she grossed $502,000. So
Wow.
the same amount that it took me 5 years to do, she did in one. But it's really just applying again these basic principles. The cool thing about law is we're really behind the times. Because
Mm.
we bill by the hour, we have been encouraged to be incredibly inefficient. I have attorneys that I asked them, like, how did it take you 8 hours to draft that motion? And he openly admitted to me that he opens up a Word Perfect document. That should have been red flag number one, that he's using Word Perfect instead of Microsoft Word or
I'm not
Google.
judging, but I kind of am.
But he opens up a fresh one and starts typing, like he types his name, his address, he creates the thing for the, because why wouldn't he? He's like, if I use a template, then I don't get to bill for that time. And so because of that, we're really inefficient. So with her, I come in there and I'm like, okay, like we're going to use templates, we're going to create systems. as soon as she could afford it, we hired a office staff and a paralegal to help her. And not surprisingly, now she was working more than 4 days a week. So we had to work on year 2 on getting her time back. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was doable. But the coolest part is she just got back from this summer. She went to Taiwan with one of her kids, and there was a school trip, and she was able to go. So she was gone for 14 days, and I know she wasn't working because I kept emailing her and she wasn't responding to me. So, but that's what I want, like nothing
Right.
made me happier than seeing her come back from a 14-day trip. Her firm's still running, and she's making money.
That's amazing. So if you're an attorney and you're listening to this and you're thinking, I don't have time to hire Chris, I don't have time to work with a CMO, I don't have time to take a vacation, you need to hire Chris because you probably do have time, you're just mismanaging it.
Hey there, I hope you're enjoying the conversation and your sandwich as much as we are. I want to take a moment to share a few words about our sponsor, Marketing Boss. If you're a law firm owner looking to supercharge your growth, our team at Marketing Boss is here to help. We've got over a decade of experience and a proven track record, and we specialize in growing law firms like yours with data-driven marketing leadership. So if you own a law firm and you're ready to get a predictable, steady flow of cases from your marketing, let's connect at marketing-boss.com.
Chris, I was having a conversation just in general about lawyers and how they invest their money in different services, professional services. And we were kind of chuckling, but like not. Like I felt a little sad when we're like, how is it that attorneys will spend $6,000 a month on like a billboard to like be like in the city, be seen,
Yeah.
but they won't take the time to buy a CRM
Yep.
or license some AI software so they could do things more efficiently at their firm. Like this isn't even in the marketing space. Like even just what you talked about, the way they do things, the way they draft documents, the way they manage cases, the
Yeah.
software that they use. I remember once I met an attorney who had been licensing Clio. I think it was, no, Clio. It was FileVine, licensing FileVine. And they were literally using it just like a spreadsheet because she didn't have time to figure out how the software worked.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I'm like, why?
Mhm. Yeah, it's so true. When it comes to time, it's really just, I mean, honestly, Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time, that's got to
Mm,
be one of my favorites on this. And in there, he talks about your buyback rate. So you figure out
yes,
how much money you're making, and anything that you can delegate for 1/4 what you're making, he's like, you got to delegate it right now. Um, and that seems to resonate pretty well with attorneys because we bill by the hour. It's so easy to define what our time's worth. And but one of the things I like to add to that is, say you're billing $400 an hour, then theoretically anything that you could delegate for $100 an hour or less, you should delegate. But that doesn't mean you have to pay $100. Start
right.
with the cheap stuff first. Like hire a virtual assistant for $6 or $10 an hour, whatever. Have them take care of that stuff first, and then move up and up. Like that will buy you so much time.
Right.
Um, but then also realize, as an attorney, you spent a lot of time and money to get really specialized and really good at one thing, which is the law. Um, and I wouldn't expect other people to be as good at the law as you, especially if like this practice area you're focusing on. But that's true for all of the other stuff. So like
Mm,
marketing, right? I can guarantee you spend way more time studying and learning about marketing than an attorney's ever going to be able to. And why wouldn't, like, just like you want people to hire you for your expertise, hire experts for their expertise. And you're
right.
going to get such better quality. We have this mindset that no one can do it as well as us. And that's a fallacy we need to break and just hire the experts for the things that they're good at.
That right there, what would you say to an attorney that's thinking, because I've heard this a lot too. Oh, I won't incorporate automation. I won't delegate. I won't blah, 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 because I take pride in my work and I'm very hands-on. And I feel like that means I'm providing a better service. What would you say to that? Because I've heard that a lot as well.
Yeah. Um, no one person can do everything. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you let the automations and your teams do the things that they're best at, that lets you spend your time doing the things that you're best at, which increases the quality overall. Like even if you're really good at drafting motions, if you have a template that you've created, so your
Right.
mind went into it, and then your team goes in and inputs all the information, and now you get to sit down and with the hour that you had to draft a motion, you just get
Right.
to do legal analysis. How much better is that
Mm-hmm.
legal analysis going to be if you didn't spend the first 45 minutes putting the template together? And then
Mm,
now you have an hour to do it instead of 15 minutes. So yeah, it's hogwash. The best work you can possibly make is when each person is doing what they are individually best at, which includes you. So you
right.
should never be the one checking your email, answering the phone, picking up lunch. Like those things can be done by someone else, and so they should be done by someone else so that you
Right.
can stay in your zone of genius as long as possible.
Yeah, that makes total sense. When it comes to like I'm a huge, huge fan of automate whatever I can.
Hmm.
And I've been judged like, oh, well, what about people? And I'm just like, yeah, people are a lot happier when they're actually using their personality and their brain because I've automated the rest of the business. I'm not taking away jobs.
Yeah,
I'm creating opportunities for people to be human.
yeah,
And humans interact, humans have conversations, humans connect. Why not let an email marketing software do the rest or,
right.
uh, just yeah, or cut out steps.
And that
One of the
stuff,
things that I love doing as a CMO with the law firms is going in and looking at their marketing processes. Oh my gosh, how boring. No one likes to look at that. And I've come into so many law firms where they're like, "Oh yeah, we've got an agency that does this and we've got a person that does this." And I'll come in and I'll be like, "What if we change the process to this? No need for a VA. What if
yeah.
we change it? Oh, no need for an agency. Oh, guess what? You consolidated your entire team that used to take a marketing director, an agency, and two VAs into something that one VA can do, and it's foolproof. And you just
Hmm.
have your CMO just kind of checking things, shameless plug,
Yeah,
like to make sure nothing crazy is going out. And then that's it.
yeah.
Like,
And
so much
there's less
cheaper.
chances of failure there, right?
Yes.
You
I'm a
know,
huge.
and then we as people we get busy, and then we have busy seasons and slow seasons. So if you have a computer that's consistent even when you're busy, that consistency is one of the most important parts. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
found the same thing. Like I'd rather put a system together that's going to be consistent, whether it's cold outside or hot outside or January or July 4th, and people
Right.
want to go shoot fireworks. Like let the computer do their thing so that we as the people can do the people things, the
Yeah.
relationship things. I
Yeah.
100% agree.
And Yeah, and Chris, I know we're running out of time. This has been such a great conversation. I do have a very important question for you that I
Yeah,
ask every single guest on this show. This is a no judgment zone. You can
okay,
share
yeah.
your honest heart's truth. What is your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich.
It's called the Care Sandwich Podcast.
Yeah, I love it. And so we have a garden. It's actually at my mother-in-law's house, which is just a couple minutes away. But so we garden there, and honestly, fresh tomatoes and then like a BLT, so bacon, lettuce, tomato with fresh garden tomatoes is by far the best. I've probably had one a day for the last 2 weeks, so I'd have to say that.
That sounds awesome, but with the fresh tomatoes from the garden.
Oh yeah, it's
You
way
can't
better
buy
with
that
fresh
anywhere. That's not
tomatoes.
fair. The rest of us will just have to
I
eat it
know.
in our
You can
imagination.
buy the tomatoes on the vine, and it's still not as good, but it's better than the normal stuff.
Yeah, no, I hear you. My dad does vegetable gardening as a hobby, and I know that warm, like fresh.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've
Yep,
had that in my memories.
I love
Well,
it.
this has been great. Chris, is there anything that you want to share? And then definitely tell us how can people get in touch with you if they want to get started or learn more about your services too.
Yeah, I like to end most of these podcasts with just letting people know that they can, if they're not living a life that they're enjoying, they can change that. Like, you don't have to leave the law to have a good life. There's a lot of attorneys that are in the law, making good money, but also living a quality lifestyle. And so that would be my biggest thing is you've invested a lot of time and money and energy into being a lawyer. See if you can make this work before you jump ship. Because I know you can if you're willing to do it. And so, yeah, if you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. And so give yourself some grace. It's okay if you didn't figure it out the first time. I didn't, right? I made horrible money and worked crazy hours for probably the first 3 years of my practice. So if I can do it, you can do it. And ask for help. There's lots of people out there, whether it's me or someone else, that's willing to help you get there. So ask for help. Don't be ashamed of it. And you can do this.
Is there a URL or a number? How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah. Timefreedomlawyers.com would be the easiest way to get a hold of me. At my social media, everything's there as well. But and there's some free resources on there as well. So that would be where I'd send people to.
Amazing. So there you have it. If you think that you do not have time, or if you think that you do have time, you are right. But we're here to tell you that you do have time. You can be free. And the law and happiness are not mutually exclusive. They can coexist. And Chris can show you the way. So thank you so much, Chris, for sharing these tips. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Care Sandwich Podcast.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich.